Hello everybody, I've been looking at your submissions and they're going very well. I've seen a good variety of whole group preferences over station rotation preferences and some good explanations about why you prefer one over the other. There are a couple things that came in about the station rotation that I thought I'd share some tips with you. So I put together this slideshow to just quickly go over those. First thing is, with station rotation, it is okay to have an empty station to begin with in case students need to learn something before they're able to complete the task at that station. That was one of the questions that I get frequently, is about what do I do because they can't do the activity unless they have prior knowledge. So they start at the prior knowledge station and then they can rotate to the station where they need to apply that prior knowledge. Second thing is, large group sizes, large class sizes, that's sort of like the reality of today because of budget cuts. We are seeing an increase in class sizes. One strategy that could be used is to have two of each station. So you could have a station 1A and a station 1B, maybe to divide the classroom in half, have station 1, 2, and 3 on one half of the classroom and station 1A, 1B, 1, 3 on the other half of the classroom. And then you can bring and meet your teacher-led group accordingly to that model. The other thing is that if is a limitation in space, you could have the stations rotate to the groups. So you would have the groups sit together and then they would just work on whatever station activity needs to be done at that time. This is a great time to leverage Schoology or whatever LMS that your school uses, and they can find their activity for that station posted there. Or they could have one person bring a printed sheet or whatever the printed directions might be. But instead of them getting up and moving, they would just, after the timer goes off, they would then move on and start working on the next station that they would be scheduled to do. So a couple things when we were talking about thinking big and starting small. For station rotation, start with two stations. It would be almost like a whole group rotation. So you're just having one station and then you rotate, and that gives opportunity to practice those routines about how to rotate, what the signal will be, and then the direction that you might want to rotate. Everybody should rotate in the same direction just to avoid people colliding into each other. And then you can only just rotate once during a class period, so you don't have to have multiple times where the kids are getting up when they could get silly when there's a new routine in place. With the whole group, start with a tool that they already know how to use. That way you can sort of ease them into the routine versus trying to teach them a new routine and a new tool. Try it for just 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week to see how it goes, and gradually work up to whatever you feel comfortable with. Several of you mentioned the fact that sometimes you think station rotation would work better one day, and some of you think a whole group station would work better. I posted the article from Dr. Catlin Tucker about how to select the model, but definitely switch the models up. All depends on what your students need and what your teaching is going to be about that day. We're moving into Module 4, so I thought I'd go ahead and talk about flipped classroom. Try it once a week, putting maybe a short video in Schoology for them to watch. If it's something that the kids aren't going to be able to access at home, or maybe you're like many teachers and you feel your students are just not going to do it, make that one of the stations. So when they come back the next day, whoever wasn't able to watch the video, that will be their first station for the day, and make that flipped classroom become part of your station rotation. The other thing for the individual playlists is try choice board and give them an option to watch something, to read something, to listen to something, and then leverage some of those student completion rules in Schoology if you're using Schoology. Canva also has a similar student completion rules as well, so that they have to do something before they can move on. Make sure you have that teacher check-in time. That's really important. You need to know whether or not they're understanding before they just complete all the activities and practice something that they may not be practicing correctly. And then gradually use that student data to perhaps give different playlists for different students depending on their needs. That's one way to infuse that data to really truly personalize that learning. Looking forward to reading the rest of your Module 3 learning journals, and I'm looking forward to seeing what your final submission is for Module 4. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm back this week, so I'm glad to be digging back into the course and seeing all the good things that I've been reading about. So I hope you have a great Sunday and a great week this week.